All right, well, China has condemned US President Donald Trump's latest move to impose 100% tariffs on Chinese goods, calling it hypocritical. In response, Beijing defended its recent export controls on rare earth elements, saying they are based on national security concerns rather than retaliation. Despite rising tensions, China did not announce new tariffs on US products, suggesting it may be leaving room for negotiation. And analysts believe this could signal a willingness to de-escalate the trade conflict, though some warn it may also reflect reduced confidence in reaching a long-term deal with Trump. Beijing reassured foreign businesses that its export controls are not outright bans, promising that compliant civilian use exports will be approved. And meanwhile, China launched an antitrust investigation into US chip maker Qualcomm, adding further pressure on American firms operating in the country. Andrew Latham, Professor of International Relations, is joining us from Minneapolis. Andrew, appreciate you being here with us. Well, it seems that Donald Trump has had a mood swing again when it comes to these tariffs with China. It seemed that after India, there was going to be some sort of a deal that both these countries would strike, but it's not so. What do you make of this, and is this something that the Chinese would be taking seriously, considering the fact that they have not responded in kind or retaliated like Donald Trump does, means that they're hoping that better sense would prevail?
Well, perhaps, and one hopes, but I want to underscore that these moves on the part of the government in China are qualitatively different than anything that's happened before. Donald Trump, in fact, is responding to China's escalation, first of all. And we're not talking about tariffs and toys here. We're talking about China making clear to the world that it is going to use its monopoly or near monopoly control over value chains related to rare earths in the defense sector. And I would remind your viewers that a huge percentage of the American F-35 fighter, the Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, the Virginia-class submarines are dependent on access to these rare earths from China. And so to the extent that China is introducing friction, more regulations, they're not putting tariffs on there, but more regulations, more end-use inspections, et cetera, it's going to undermine the American defense industry in profound ways with knock-on effects that include weakening the United States military deterrent and military force, military capabilities. This is qualitatively different than anything that's happened in this tit-for-tat tariff war to date. And it signals either purposefully or accidentally that China is upping the ante.
And what do you also make of the fact that back home, Donald Trump is also facing criticism now from his own supporters and his own party people? Is that something which might slow down the offensive that he's had against other countries when it comes to tariffs and trade?
Yes, because you ask yourself who actually ends up paying for these tariffs, and it's the American taxpayer through the Pentagon, for example, or the American taxpayer directly. Goods on shelves at stores are more expensive because of the tariffs. And so it's hitting disproportionately and ironically his base, the MAGA base, that tends to be working class, tends to be less well off, et cetera. They're the ones who are literally paying the price for these tariffs. So it's not really surprising that there's this blowback against Trump. But again, this particular set of moves on the part of Beijing is qualitatively different. This is national security now, not just theater around national politics.
Andrew, stay with us. We have more to talk about. Well, the Taliban spokesperson has said that Afghan forces have killed